Hey guys, guess what? We have got more Proline tires up for grabs. So write me a comment why you need these tires. You got new rigs, you're building old rigs, you're changing old rigs, your tires are tired, or you just need to upgrade your tires. Write me a comment, guys. The guys who write me a comment, I will put you guys in the final draw and let's see who wins the final prize. Now let's get back into today's video. I've always had this one problem with the Land Cruiser body. It makes the tires of the TRX4 look small. Now there are bigger tires on my Axial, but they are branded Axial Rock Lizards. So putting them onto a TRX4 brand, I'm just not going to go there. And plus, if I swap the tires around, it'll make this body will make those tires look small and the other way around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the Land Cruiser body fit onto the Axial. So let's take this off. And this body, there are magnet posts on it. And on this body, there are actually only these little side posts. It doesn't actually have posts like the TRX4 does. So you could actually just do that and say, okay, cool, I'm done. But we got some adjustments to do here. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. So basically what I need to do is line up the posts, the side posts that the car has, and mark it on the body and then drill the holes. But the way this is sitting is just not right. So what I'm going to first do is take off the rear bumper. This is actually just slided on and it adjusts to the different bodies that I have on the vehicle. So let's take that off for a second, place the body on and line the tires up. So this is kind of the area where I'm thinking the back wheel should be sitting. The front wheel, I'm not too worried about that. The back wheel should be sitting at the right position to the body. I think this is kind of the area where it's going to be. So it's kind of just looking over and touching the lip of the bumper roll bar. So the front of the body is resting on the front bumper, and because I took the rear bumper off, the back bumper is obviously not holding the body up. But because that is kind of the same line, the front end to the rear end of the car, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can maybe put the bumper in upside down and lift up the body so that the body is sitting on the level chassis, front and rear. So I'm going to fit the bumper upside down, kind of like this, because on the front of the body we are sitting on this ridge, and then I'm just going to let the body rest on this ridge as well, so that we have a level truck. So now the body is resting on the chassis, literally on the front bumper and the rear bumper. And it looks quite level, but what's important at this stage is lining up the rear fender to the wheel. So what I'm going to do is compress it and see if my fender is centered over the wheel, so that I get minimum rub as there's compression. So I'm thinking this is quite a good position. Under full compression, I still seem to have a little bit of a gap. Maybe the body can move just a little bit further back, maybe a millimeter or two, just to clear that tire a little bit better. So let me just do that small adjustment. Let's try that again. I have got clearance in the rear and the front of the fender, and I think that's a perfect position. So I'm quite happy the way the car stands at the moment. Maybe just center it a little more on the back, bringing the body a little bit more over, centering it over the chassis from the side. The body is not angling in any way, it's sitting completely parallel to the chassis. And from the front, it seems to be just sitting perfectly in this front metal bumper. Seems to be a perfect cutout for it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the posts from the inside. Just using the spinning table or the Lazy Susan, get all my markings right, making 100% sure the car is, or the body is centered. The angle of the body is correct on the vehicle or on the chassis. Seems to like to move every time I spin it. Okay, I think I'm ready to do the first marking. And that should be fine. Hang on, let me just adjust this quickly. I think the front moved again. There we go. Wait. Okay. Checking that point that I've marked is exactly right. Good. So I can drill my first hole. So with having one mark, I'm going to drill the hole, use that mark to align the body to the other posts. So once the hole is done, I'm going to slide it over the one post to mark the second one, and etc. Just going to measure my post quickly, and it is a, whoops, a 6 point, it's almost a 7. So what do I have here? I have a 6 and an 8. So let's start with 6 and then drill it up to 8. I'm going to take my mark and just drill it open. By the way, this is the perfect tool to make the perfect holes. Round holes, like really round holes. So that's my basic idea. Using the one hole to mark and line up the second one. So that one is sitting, wheel arch is perfectly placed over the tire. Now I'm going to swing it around and mark the other side. Nobody said this was going to be easy. Oh, come on. Okay, I've marked the other side, and I'm just going to give it a short check to see if I have lined it up as good as I can. So coming from this side, that seems to be correct. Center point, center point. So the mark I made is a little bit higher, but like by a millimeter. So I'm quite good. I'm almost spot on. But now I've just remarked it a little bit, so it's actually sitting a millimeter lower than I marked it while it was on the car. So just by double checking it, you can always just make sure that everything is 100% parallel. So both holes are done, mirrored to each other perfectly. Now let's do the other two. Just making sure the body is touching the front bumper so that it is in line. Okay. Here's the mark I made, just checking the height of the mark, and it is exactly in line with the other side. So dun dun dun, here comes the final test for the right side. So let's now mark the last hole. Okay, place my mark. So placing the body back on. And then what we will do is, oh, hang on a seckie. So just refitting the ladder quickly. So all in all, this is looking quite good. And most of all, the size of the tires are fitting a little bit better under this body. So let's go hit the rocks and see how much body rub we have.